Hello, everyone. My name is Aphrodite, and I'm here from Heritage Malta to talk about Horizon Project Impulse. So, okay, here we are. We've got it. So, the project was created for the call Revisiting the Digitization Cultural Heritage, What, How, and Why. And it is grounded within the Horizon Europe program, Cluster 2, Research and Innovation Actions. But what is Impulse exactly? First of all, let's see what Impulse stands for. So, Impulse stands for Immersive Digitization, Upcycling Cultural Heritage towards new reviving strategies. Now we can see all the partners. Impulse is coordinated by the Jagiellonian University in Krakow, and we have partners from Greece, Belgium, Malta, Germany, and also Italy. And now every country, apart from offering their specific collections, they will also give us their expertise. So, Impulse began, here you can see also some people from the core team representing each team that is going to be from different partners. Now, Impulse began in February this year, and after several months of collaborations and meetings and talking back and forth, it started to come to life. In its core, Impulse looks to explore and learn from our collections and how we can reuse the assets, the digital assets that we already have in different, more innovative ways. So, how can we use these digital assets in virtual, extended, and augmented reality contexts? 3D standards and technical requirements are constantly changing all the time. How can we stay relevant? How can we create something that still stays contemporary? And how can we find a way to preserve these collections and at the same time present them to different audiences? Now, there are many questions being raised that we will attempt to address through this project. Along with the recurring issues, as most of the speakers before me mentioned about standardization and intellectual property, the project questions how can we create dialogues between timelines, collections, institutions, or even countries? How do we blur those boundaries? What are the best ways to preserve, catalog, tangible, and also intangible cultural heritage while keeping it relevant and contemporary, as I already said? Now, what are the stories that we want to tell through these assets? And most importantly, what are the tools that we want to use to tell these stories? I'm going to go now briefly for the main objectives of the project, and then I will focus mainly on what we will do from the side of Malta. First of all, how can we foster solutions that extend the range of the artifacts, the digital artifacts that can be presented? Because an issue that we usually see is that there are so many artifacts that are not being shown from the collections. So how can we build platforms to exhibit these collections accordingly? By making something virtual, immediately you get access to more assets, to more artifacts. And then the people can find more innovative and creative ways to actually use these artifacts in different ways. Another main objective that we have is how we can identify and also develop technological solutions. For example, how we can develop software that extends the functionality of existing software in libraries, and how we can make the existing research engines that we have better and more appropriate from what we want them to do. Also, how these solutions can be developed in teaching and also learning scenarios. Another main objective is how we can provide roadmaps, frameworks, and detailed maps about, for example, copyrights. We have to deal with so many different countries, and every country has different copyrights, has different things that we need to think about when we want to work with them. So many different legal systems that we need to be informed about at the same time and find a way to combine them and make them work. And then 5, also to enable connections and encounters by merging both digital and live. Now here you can see the different work projects and work packages. First of all, work package 1, which the one that we will be mostly focusing on, is extended storytelling towards vivid users and experience, which is called X-Story. There we're going to review people who are relevant in the industry, research on UX methodology, XR research, ideation workshops, and also performances on how, for example, artists interpret digital assets and cultural heritage, of course. In the work package 2, immersive technologies for digital cultural heritage, it's the upcycle part, the tech part. And there we're going to have technical research, technical reports, and assumptions, and also we're starting building different prototypes and experimenting with the different pilots. Work package 3, standards and simplification. There we're going to, again, find guidelines of metadata, reports on methodology for paradata, digitization, competence, and overview of all the new technologies. In work package 4, as I also mentioned before, it's the legal stuff. Work package 5, it's about dissemination, communication, and also mentoring. And last but not least, we have work package 6, which is project management. Here you can see the roadmap on the timeline of the program, of the project. We're currently on the initial phase, and we had the kickoff meeting actually this May. Our project begins with the extensive research regarding user experience, exploring what our audiences are interested in and how we can offer them new experiences by using innovative tools while also increasing engagement. Our goal is not to create something just for the sole purpose to keep up with the trends, but to find tangible solutions and practical. And so we come up with a different set of questions that we want to address. Now, how is Malta involved in work package 1? A quick synopsis of what we will be focusing in Malta, sub-consortium of Heritage Malta, University Malta, and also Magnas Min. How do we define collections, and how can we identify and offer optimal ways to interact with them when they're so vastly different from each other? We have, in the collections that we will be using in the project, for example, we have from Neolithic tools, medical and navigational instruments, to interviews with the docker workers, fortification plans, cannonballs, and archives of student lecture notes, traces of everyday lives spread across timelines and also locations. The University of Malta will focus on artists and artistic research. Also we'll see how scholars and educators approach these themes and topics. Magnas Min will explore how to share underrepresented narratives and public accessibility to cultural heritage spaces. And Heritage Malta will research how to share collections and ideas in museum and educational contexts. One of our most interesting challenges will be to find emerging patterns and parallels between these collections. Our role is to create dialogue between collections and to find viable solutions for presenting these narratives with the technical work package partners. Now, how we're approaching the whole project? What are the questions that we would like to address from our part? Currently, we're researching the state of the field, especially on 3D and virtual environments, alongside with our partners in Jagiellonian University. And also, we're planning specific interviews with professionals on the field. For example, VR artists or scholars who are experiencing and using VR and AR in different ways. Now, how can we design in a more playful and also interactive way? How is care defined in virtual, fictional, hybrid worlds? How do we use technology to redistribute power imbalances and colonial pasts to transform our praxis in a more participatory and also inclusive one? Now, we plan on organizing multiple workshops with all our partners, especially in 2025, attempting to explore the following questions. Now, how are our audiences engaging with the cultural heritage? How can we create a socially engaged experiences in XR technologies to challenge dominant narratives and represent marginalized cultures? Where are the spaces that teaching, but also learning takes place? And where this is being conducted. For example, is this happening inside the classroom? Is it happening inside the museum, a gallery, schools? How do we blur the lines in between those spaces? How does artistic research and educational pedagogical approaches overlap? And also, which XR platforms are available and enable to us these approaches? Can we combine experiences? How do you create an assemblage of technologies? What is available? What is currently accessible for us to use? Also, another very interesting question. What is it chosen to be preserved? What about accidental censorship? There is a constant censorship, whether intentional or unintentional, where this is in the form of biases, assumptions, projections, AI, old manuscripts. So how can we successfully address that? What do we do also with the suboptimal items? What is considered suboptimal in a collection? Is it something that gets repeated? Is it something in terms of quality? If something has bad quality, it doesn't deserve to be preserved? How does this work? These are all questions that we will try to address. Now, we plan on redefining the identity of existing virtual environments / spaces through a number of participatory workshops, attempting to co-design with our audience while exploring the ideas of placelessness, intangibility, identity of objects, and also ownerships. Who these objects belong to? Do they belong to us? Do they belong to the future? Do they belong to the audience? What are the stories that are trying to be told? What is an institution's, what do institutions owe to the public and to the future as well? So here, for example, you can see different items from different collections that we will try to combine and also use and see how we can find patterns to combine them. And we plan on creating, at first we had said 3 different pilots, but these are, we will see, this is a very organic project that transforms from the way we will see how many pilots are going to be created at the end. We know for sure that there are going to be at least 3. Initially, we were saying to be focused on education, creation, and also connection, but we will also potentially create more pilots. So what is the future now? What is the future and what can be built upon impulse? How viable in the long run are these pilots that we're trying to create? Are we going to make an open access European digital museum, an interactive world? And if we do that, how this will look like? How museum spaces are transformed with the help of interactive virtual spaces and also worlds? Are they made better with these technologies? What gets omitted? So how can we use these technologies to benefit us? And what can they offer us? So if you follow the QR code there, here, you can also be part of the first round, so you can pre-register and stay in touch. Also, you can find over here the site of Impulse if you want to find more information about it. So, yeah, thank you.